Welcome to the Wellbeing Audit. This is a short exercise to enable you to self-reflect on that really important question, how are you? Straight off the bat, we need to say this is not an exam. There are no right or wrong answers to any of the questions, and no one is going to judge you or shame you for anything that you put down. Rather, it's a chance in the busyness of life to just slow down, take stock, and be honest about how things are going right now. Just to let you know, you're going to need a pen and paper, so if you need to press pause to get those, then go ahead. Now, how are you is a very big question. So we're breaking it down into 5 areas to reflect on: our physical, mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual health. Once you're ready, draw 5 circles on your paper and label each one with a different aspect of your health and well-being. You should end up with something that looks a little bit like this. Now, for each one, you're going to note down a number between 1 and 5 to suggest how you feel you are in that particular area. If you put 1, that would mean it's an area of real struggle right now. And if you put 5, then that would mean it's an area that you feel you're really flourishing in at the moment. Firstly, how are you physically? If you're a 1, you might feel exhausted, like you're not getting enough sleep, not eating brilliantly, maybe you're sedentary, maybe you're low in energy, and maybe you experience pain. And if you're a 5, then you might wake up feeling very rested. I'm a little bit envious of that. Maybe your food intake is healthy, you're getting some good exercise, taking care of your body. And we've put that if you have pre-existing conditions that are outside of your control, at least that you're doing all the right things that you're meant to manage those well. So put a number between 1 and 5. Secondly, let's think about our mental health, which we're defining as our thoughts. If you're a 1, you might feel foggy. You might have a sense of doom or feel that you can't concentrate or that you can't not concentrate and you can't switch off. And if you're a 5, you'd feel clear, you'd feel alert, you'd have fresh ideas, and you'd feel that you are able to switch off. How are you doing mentally? Moving on to our emotions, and by that we mean how we feel. If you're a 1, then your emotions would feel out of character. You'd feel like you're not quite yourself, and perhaps your responses would be disproportionate to what's really going on. Maybe you are teary or low, and maybe you can't feel anything, you feel numb. Perhaps you've said the phrase, I'm overwhelmed, or I'm at the end of my rope. And if you're a 5, then you'd feel at the moment like you are yourself. You've got some resilience, you're not overwhelmed, you are able to find joy in things, and perhaps you've said the phrase or you've thought the thought, I've got plenty in the tank right now. How are you doing emotionally? The 4th of 5 areas is our relationships. And if you're a 1, you'd feel lonely, misunderstood, unsupported. Maybe the relationships that you are in are destructive. Perhaps you're avoiding relationships or rushing into new relationships. Maybe there's just one-way traffic and you feel like you're only giving out. And if you're a 5, then you'd feel connected, encouraged, known, supported. You'd feel like you've got relationships that nurture you and give you strength and joy. And you'd feel that in your relationships you give and receive. How are you doing relationally? And then lastly, spiritually. And by that, we don't just mean religion. Perhaps some of you watching this, you don't associate yourself as a Christian or with any particular faith. But spirituality is really important to all of us. It's a human thing, not just a religious thing. So if you're a 1 in this area, you might feel that you have no sense of meaning, no sense of wonder, little sense of freedom. Maybe you feel there's a great distance between you and God or you and something bigger than yourself. And if you do have a faith, maybe it's more of a burden, if you're honest, than a blessing. And if you're a 5, then you would know what it is to feel joy and to have meaning and to have wonder and freedom. You'd feel connected and close to God or something bigger than yourself. And your spiritual life is a blessing to you and others. How are you doing spiritually right now? So you should have something that looks a little bit like this. These were my scores at the time of recording. And why not now reflect with your group on your numbers? If you'd like to, share your highest number and perhaps share what's contributing to that. And if you can, share your lowest number as well, and share what do you mean by that number? Why did you put that number? What does that number reveal about how things are going in that area for you right now? Say a little bit more, and perhaps share what one or two things might help you feel more well in those areas. Maybe share if there's any prayer or support that you'd find helpful in the next few weeks. That's it, and I hope that simple exercise has been helpful for you.